And welcome back. We're 23 minutes after the hour, heading toward the top of the hour here kind of shortly, almost to the bottom.
And it's a fun, fabulous, fantastic Friday.
I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. You're doing a great job.
Well,
you're usually back over there pointing at us and cueing us.
Yeah, I can doze behind the glass. You usually don't notice.
You're not dozing. You got a lot going on back there. But one of the things that makes a workplace nice is when we can trust each other. And when we know that there's some integrity. And wouldn't it be nice if all workplaces had leaders who were full of integrity and full of trust and were just people that you knew were always going to do the right thing?
I would say that's impossible.
It probably is, and that's why we've got people like our next guest and why she has. We're going to be so happy to welcome Ellen Castro to our studio. The book is Spirited Leadership, 52 Ways to Build Trust on the Job. Hey, Ellen, thanks for coming all the way to Atlanta to be with us.
Delighted. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, sure. Now, you consult with people all over the world.
Yes.
You really are a global leadership consultant,
Correct.
Speaker, and author. Are places all over the world as messed up as we are here?
Unfortunately, yes. And I think the good news about, at least in the United States and England and even in Luxembourg, people are aware that their actions do make a difference. And that's why they hire me. And I would say that trust is probably one of the largest business issues today.
So people need to build trust, or they're just not trustworthy?
There needs to regain trust. I think with everything that's happening recently, there's been a lot of reorganizations, a lot of downsizings, a lot of positioning, and everything that does is kill the spirit of the organization. And so what you need to do is think about, people give up. Let's just put it that way. People say, what you kind of just said, it's kind of like, well, why try? Is this possible? And with this, my whole frame of reference, that you have to be what you want to model. And subsequently, even though organizations are going crazy right now and imploding, I would say, I think that you as a leader have to take that step up and say, okay, what can I do to maintain trust? What can I do to build trust? And what can I do to maintain my credibility? Because without credibility, you have nothing.
What can leaders do?
Well, I have a wonderful leadership model that basically, to go from surviving to thriving, you have to show 3 core characteristics. And people have to want to work with you, want to love to work with you, because people have to work with you right now. So how do you have people love? And that's what this is all about. How do you thrive even in this economy? And I say it's an internal job that moves outside. Number one, you have to be credible. Without a doubt, you have to be credible. And to me, there's 7 core characteristics of credibility. Are you ready for these? And
sure.
one of them is Chris. No, it's not. the one that I think is the hardest that people don't realize is consciousness. And what I mean by that is that so often we do things unconsciously that give away our trust. And I think that, to me, has been the biggest learning, is that unconsciously I've given away trust. Like, for instance, I don't say hi to somebody in the hallways the day that they think they need to hear the hi, and then they don't trust me, or they go, she's a snob. It's when you don't say anything, because when you're silent, that tells someone you're agreeing, believe it or not. So you have to be very conscious of your actions, because everything you do is either building trust or destroying trust. There are no neutral actions. So that would be my number one. There are no neutral actions.
I want to ask you about that silence, because sometimes companies will not communicate with their employees. They won't tell them when there's changes happening. And so people, they gather around the water cooler and they speculate on what's going on.
Which is crazy. Again, I think, thanks for bringing up on that, Lori. It's in the silence people make up stories.
In the silence people make up stories.
Correct.
So they don't know what the truth is.
They don't know what the truth is.
They have to come up with something.
Correct. And people will tend to focus on the worst instead of the best. So as a leader, your responsibility to say those things and be as upfront as you can be, and keep. I do know, like in one of the companies that I actually work with in Dallas, they went in and they decided, okay, do we need to do this or do we do this? And instead of being in the silence, they held all 110 employees, came to the cafeteria and said, okay, you're going to help us make this choice, because we really don't know what to do, and we're your senior leaders.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. The people bought into it, and it was done, instead of, we know, and let's hide behind the closet. So it's pretty interesting. So other than conscience, you have to have character, and obviously integrity is a matter of character. Integrity is something that people, everything you do either shows you have integrity or doesn't show your integrity. And it's something I need to tell everybody: assume nothing is confidential. Please assume nothing is confidential, because I think another way that we unconsciously give away our credibility is that someone tells you something in confidence, And you don't mean to, but you share that confidence. And you don't say, like, I guess I know something you don't know, but you accidentally say something that leads them in the direction of that.
So in other words, don't ever tell anybody something that's confidential.
I hate to say that. People say that sounds really negative, but quite honestly, that's the safest way to do it. I know you have a dog, Gloria. I'd say talk to your dog, Sandy, Chris, who talk to you. And I tend to talk to my cat because, again, you just never know what is going to be sent forward. And it could be that just because you said something, the next time someone says something about something, they make this face and they go, because in the back of their mind, they saw your face and they go, uh-oh, this isn't good news. So you have to be conscious, you have to be character, and you have to be competent. It really helps. Now, what's interesting, even though I've been on 3 continents, 11 countries, I'll ask people, would you rather people skills or someone who's semi-competent and has people skills? They go, give me the person semi-competent.
Yeah.
Now, I can teach them my competence. I can teach them what they need, and that's why they hire me, so I can show you what I can do. But you can't beat people skills. And so I would say that always remember that if you're an engineer, the heart, what you need to do, trust is a matter of the heart, not the head.
Okay.
And that's how you're really going to do that.
All right, so what's the next C?
Okay, the next C is be consistent. And what I mean by being consistent is that your actions match your words, and that when they see me, they know that I'm going to be who I am today, tomorrow, the next day, and that I'm not different for Chris as I would be for Terry or anyone. I'm consistent with everybody. Everyone's equal. Because no one deserves your moods, and no one deserves to feel condescended or patronized. So I think consistent in your actions and in who you are. You need to show commitment. Now, I think this is the key today, is that there's very few people who are being selfless. Everyone's like, I got to hold on to my job. I have to hold on to my information. Forget commitment. I'm only committed to my job. And what I have found truly is that people who are committed to the greater good and to the organization, those are the ones that even if they do lose their job, they're going to have so many referrals, they'll get a job like that. Versus if you're known as someone who's just totally selfish and worried about their own.
I found it interesting recently, some surveys that were done at some of these companies, and they would poll the employees. Would you rather everyone take a pay cut and everyone keep their jobs, or would you rather us lose 10% of the workforce? And not surprisingly, in America, a lot of people said, I'd take my chances and keep my job and my salary. Or some that said, yeah, let's all take the cut and let's weather through this. But it was night and day difference.
And see, and that's what's so disappointing, because the whole is only as strong as the whole is only as strong as the individuals. And if you take individuals away, what do you have left? So I guess that's just it. So I mean, you have to commit to something greater than yourself. And again, those are people that will have good reputations and will have another job. I have not found anybody in this economy who can't find a job who doesn't have a strong reputation built on trust. People are flocking and say, hey, I heard you're laid off. Come help me. We need you. Come consult with me. And I think it gets back to your credibility is your reputation. It's your brand. And once you give that away, you know how hard it is. I think trust is something that is earned. It's not only earned emotionally, but logically. And once it's lost, sometimes it's a done deal. So I think I've done all set. Let's see, if you're conscious and you're competent and you're consistent and you're committed.
You have character.
And I have character. Then the 7th one is that you have confidence. And I think this is a confidence that comes from within. It was very interesting the other day because I was talking to one of the people that I executive coach, and you can't get confidence from out there because there's too much happening out there. You have to be able to speak from your heart, speak your truth, and speak it in such a way that people want to hear it. And that's what, to me, is that confidence that's not because of my position or my title. It's because of who I am as a person.
Well, that's